Housing Development Program.
Wednesday, the 12th of April 2023, may have started as every other day for residents of Banana Island, an extravagantly affluent area of Lagos State. However, that day was not to end as they had expected. Anguish, heartbreak, and irreparable losses. Those are the words that often characterize aftermath of a building collapse. And it does not matter whether it happens in Abuja, Port Harcourt, Kwara, or Lagos. The collapse of a 7-story building in Banana Island, Lagos, and its attendant destruction is evidently the little dark corner of the construction industry that experts, regulators, and investors have grappled with for years. While many believe the age-long practice of condemning building collapse falls drastically short of the desperately needed solution to halt the trend, the victims have had to endlessly seek solace and compensation. Given these numerous instances of building collapse we now see in Nigeria, it is only pertinent to ask, what are the implications? I'll speak to experts to help us with perspectives and insights. While reacting to the collapse of a building under construction along 7th Avenue in the Gwarimpa area of Abuja last February, the president of Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, REDAN, Dr. Aliyu Wamako, highlighted issues that are generic and common to the threat of building collapse across the country.
I also blame the National Assembly because we in the real estate business, we believe everywhere in the country there is real estate regulation law, but there is no regulation in Nigeria. We come together, we applied for a law that will regulate the real estate. And unfortunately, the House of Representatives, for concurrence, this bill has been passed by the Senate for the past 8 months. But because of the slow nature of what they are doing, up to now, this bill has not come out. And if this bill should have been on ground, it will tackle the issue of building collapse. Why? Because building collapse, if people are adhering to the National Building Code, definitely speaking, the ugly incident that happens here will not happen again if there is adherence to the National Building Code, which this law regulating the real estate business in the country has already captured this. And I believe if this is not being looked into, when there is no law, everybody can come and say it's a developer. There is no regulation that is regulating that. So how will you now avoid building collapse? How will you avoid sharp practice in the industry? So many people have been duped by quack developers.
Lending his voice to the calls for conscious efforts aimed at stopping building collapse to be made, President of Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, NITP, Town Planner Nathaniel Atebije, laments the lack of value placed on human life as being a major factor responsible for this unfortunate reality.
Let me say that painfully, this nation has no value for the lives of its citizens. It's very painful. And this is a contradiction of the provisions of the Constitution of this nation. Now, in terms of construction sites, we have quite a lot of things that are supposed to be done, to protect people on construction sites. For example, it is mandatory for anybody who is going into a site of this magnitude of development, there should be an insurance cover. There should be an insurance cover. But how many of the buildings or how many of the construction sites are insured?
Again, Dr. Wamako calls on the Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, to rise to the occasion and enforce its mandates with commitment and vigor.
Standard Organization to also be watchful on some of the iron rods that are being in the market, because the iron rod in the market, some of them are substandard and nobody cares to check them. And it is the duty of SON, Standard Organization of Nigeria, to make sure that all these iron rods are up to the task they are expected to be. You can see an iron 16 and it is not as strong as even the iron 12. So that is some of the problems.
This is Honorable Solomon Maren in 2017, moving a motion for a bill seeking adoption and enforcement of the National Building Code.
The bill seeks to enforce the National Building Code, which is a comprehensive document developed over the years in Nigeria by professionals, academicians, private sector, and indeed regulatory agencies of government in the built environment. All over the world, honorable colleagues, courts exist as guides, conditions and criteria to be met before the design and development of infrastructure is carried out, whether it's a private or a public building.
While critical stakeholders and regulators believe that the National Building Code is an essential document that will come in handy when it comes to checking the menace of building collapse in Nigeria, it is the hope of everyday Nigerian that this will be the last of these ugly incidents. We at Mofwegwe Housing Development